Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you're well. You know, the sad thing about the BBC is the fact that back in its infancy, when it was first devised, it was a thing to behold, the nation's broadcaster, something to be proud of. And no matter where you went in the world, you could tune into the BBC and find out factually what was going on. And as the years have gone by, of course, it's morphed into something else. It's become state-run propaganda is what it is, the government mouthpiece. And we see loads and loads and loads of evidence to this effect. No matter where you look, of complicity in something, and it's down to the BBC. You've got people, including myself, who've stopped paying their TV license in their droves because we no longer want to finance something like this. You've got people tuning out because they realise they're being fed a pack of lies. I did a video yesterday on media manipulation, and I'll leave an end screen at the end of this video so you can go and re-watch it. And we really get to see that we are being manipulated on a grand scale on a daily basis. Now, when everything came out about the BBC, you got all of the, establishment figures, lefty types, all coming out in defence of it because they think, oh, our mouthpiece is going to go. It really is very, very bad. Here's an example here, a tweet from Ed Davey. The resignations of Tim Davey and Deborah Turnus must be a chance for the BBC to turn a new leaf, rebuild trust, and not give it to those like Nigel Farage who want to destroy it. We must stand up for a strong, independent BBC to stop Trump's America becoming Farage's Britain. Is that so? Well, I have a big problem with all of this, which will be saved for another video, but that is the kind of comment that we're seeing from not only Ed Davey, many, many others as well. We, of course, know Tim Davey has resigned. That happened fairly immediately in the push towards that. And I just want to point out two things before we talk about Donald Trump. There's this, which came up online. You recognise that website and you recognise that individual who's just stood down from the BBC. He's a weffer or some associate of them. You know, I always say anybody in high positions of authority, always check those three letters to see if there is any link. And the one that, you know, I laughed at most of all was this one here. I'd like to thank Tim Davey for his contribution as Director General of the BBC. Over the past 5 years, Tim has led at a time of great change and challenge. The BBC is strong and valued part of our media landscape, and the BBC board will now need to reflect on how it ensures that the BBC continues to deliver for UK audiences. Chief Executive of Ofcom. Well, we know that Ofcom is stuffed to the hilt full of, activists, ex-BBC people, and also, again, as in a video I brought out fairly recently, Fabians. There is at least one Fabian in there that I know of. So again, it's all part of that establishment. Now, what's dealt the fatal blow? It is, of course, that video of Trump that they doctored. Have a look at this. I managed to get hold of a video where you see what was doctored and what the original was.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
See the difference? So all doctored, and it was a BBC Panorama clip. And those of you that remember, I think they tried to stitch up Tommy on Panorama, didn't they? He saw it and turned the tables on them. So it's not their first rodeo. Now, Trump's not taking this lightly. Here is the demand from his lawyers, Brito PLLC. And this basically summarizes everything that, has gone on, the reputational damage and citing case law, which you do in common law. By the way, the Americans got that from the English, to substantiate what you're saying. And also the fact that there are many records of this play over electronic and also paper-based. And the best bit of all is this last page here. If the BBC does not comply with the above by November the 14th, 2025, so that's literally 3 days from now at 5 p.m, President Trump will be left with no alternative but to enforce his legal and equitable rights, all of which are expressly reserved and are not waived, including by filing legal action for no less than $1 billion in damages. The BBC is on notice. Please govern yourself accordingly. $1 billion. If you do the translation, that is a lot of money. A lot of money. I mean, in my personal view, I don't think $1 billion goes far enough. I think they should look at their bank balance, their assets, and strip them of everything. They should be completely finished. And anybody else that's complicit in this as well, I think they should be completely finished also. That is my opinion of the BBC. And of course, we've got a few things here. This is Andrew Bridgen. On the 8th of November 2023, as with President Trump, the BBC had to admit they put their own edits and captions on my speech in Parliament. I complained to Ofcom, who upheld my complaint. The BBC issued an apology claiming they've made a mistake while trying to provide context. And you can see, I'm not going to read it, but you can see what they were complicit in there. This is another one. The moment BBC stopped 70s punk rocker John Lydon from outing Savile in 1978. And this is a funny one. BBC disinformation correspondent accused of embellishing her CV. Now, that same disinformation, or the head of the BBC disinformation department, actually emailed me, messaged me on Facebook, actually wanting a chat. And I made her. I knew she was immediately. So I said, I know who you are. I never got a reply. So you can tell they were trying to fit me up also. Those are just some examples, and there are many others on there as well. I'm going to do another version of this over on Rumble, where there's another screen dump I want to show you as well, which really rams it home what exactly is going on with the BBC. And why it needs to end. And I hope Trump does sue the hell out of them. I hope he destroys them, because the English, Scottish, Welsh, and Northern Irish deserve a lot better. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, share my stuff, subscribe to the channel. And as always, I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.